If you've been using bands for months and years and still don't have a pull up or a dip, they're holding you back. Coach Barrick here, Equity Podcast, giving you tools to be fit for life. Walking through the gym, we see people using bands all the time, and they were really used a lot in the early years of the large group gyms, and they're holding you back. What we need to do is focus on some different things. So, the first thing, what's the issue with bands? Well, the issue is they give you the most assistance at the bottom of the movement. And that is where we need and want the least amount of help. When that muscle is extended, that is when we want the least amount of help because that's where we need to build strength. So, in order to do a pull up, we need to be able to pull that first little bit, and that is where you're getting the most help. So, where it is the hardest is where we want the least amount of help. And then at the top, where we want where we can use some more help, we don't get any at all. So that bottom position is such a key part, and it just pops you right out of that position. You're just not getting the strength work that you need in order to develop the dip or the pull up. So we need to make sure. So the issue is that they do too much for you in the positions that you don't want them to do too much for you. The other issue is that people use it as a crutch. Oh, I'll just do bands. And they just keep always saying that, and eventually I'll get them, and they never get dips or pull-ups. It's just a crutch. Just like wearing a belt for everything. That's a crutch, and you're probably hiding something that you're not good at. And then finally, you're just not building the foundation of understanding how the shoulder should move, how you have to move, what kind of bar path you should be having when you do your movements, when you're doing that pull up or the dip. How does your body in space? How do you stabilize your midline? How do you stabilize your shoulders? How do you build that foundation, that foundational strength for those movements? And the bands, you're just not doing that. So the question is, if those are the issues and bands aren't helping me get to where I want to get, what should I be doing instead? Well, what we should be doing instead is eccentric and isometric work. So eccentric is the lengthening of that muscle. So when that muscle is getting longer, we want to be slow in that movement. So if I'm doing a pull up on that way down, I'm going to control that movement on the way down. Or we can do isometric movement, right? We're doing some bar hangs, we're holding at the top, we're doing some half arm holds. Eccentric and isometric holds are really going to be more beneficial. Now, the issue with eccentric and isometric holds is that we just have to make sure that we keep track of our reps that we're doing, because we don't want to exceed, probably like 2 minutes, 120 seconds of time under tension, because then we can start getting into some excessive muscle tissue breakdown. So 5 sets of 5 with a 5-second descent, that's 125 seconds. So you're in that range. We definitely want to be in that 120. If we start getting over that, it's a little too much. And also think about different modifications, starting to get creative with what we're doing. So toe supported pull-ups, seated pull-ups, partner pull-ups, bench dips, seated dips, like using cable machines, like finding different movements that we can use to build strength instead of just always going to that band. Mixing it up, trying some different things, doing, hey, this week, for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to do toe supported pull-ups. And the next 3 weeks, I'm going to do really hard ring rows. The next week, I'm going to do some band work, and then cycle through different ones, work on different parts of that strength. And finally, we want to be inefficient. When we're trying to build strength, we want to be inefficient in our movement. We don't want to be efficient. When we're building strength, when we're doing functional bodybuilding, when we're trying to get strong, we actually want to be inefficient. We want to make that muscle hurt. We want to be super inefficient, and we want to get out. So if I'm doing a pull-up, I want it to be hard at the bottom. I want it to be hard when I'm starting to break that, because that's how we're going to get stronger. If we make that the easy part and we make it more efficient, we're not going to get better. We're not going to see the results that we want to see. All right. So when to use bands, or should I be using them at all? And yes, we can use bands, but there's a couple things that we want to make sure that we're focusing on. The first is bands are a tool in the toolbox. They're not the only tool. It's a tool in the toolbox. So have that part of your repertoire, not be your only thing. Tool in the toolbox. Whenever we do use a band, it's in a strict environment. We want to make sure that we're doing it strict, no kipping anything with a band. And then finally, we want to make sure that we're controlling the movement and we're doing tempo. Like when we're lowering, we're controlling that descent and getting some time under tension. Same thing with the dip. Time under tension. Try and get those bands as low as possible. Use as little band as possible. Last thing, mindset. When we're working on these things, when we're folks trying to say, all right, I'm going to start trying to be a little bit different so I can get that dip, so I can get that pull up. I'm going to stop using bands so much, start doing some other things. We need to change our mindset and say, hey, I need a strength mindset. When I'm doing a workout in class and the gymnastics comes up, I'm going to focus on building strength when I'm doing that movement. So if I'm doing ring rows, instead of just crushing 15 ring rows really fast, I'm going to do 8. I'm going to do 5 ring rows, but I'm going to do a 5-second tempo on the way down each time, right? I'm going to slow down whenever I do my movements. I want to focus on strength. Now, if we're doing pull-ups and running, hey, I'm still going to go for the run, do the run, but when I get back to the pull-ups, I'm really going to focus on building that strength. And then we want to have some goals. Hey, my goal is a pull-up. So I want to be able to do 10 toe supported pull ups unbroken with a 3-second eccentric movement, right? All right, once I can do that, then I'll do the next thing, then the next thing. And if you're not really sure how to do that, that's why you find a coach, right? Find somebody that can help you in that process. We do individual design, we do accessory work for people to help get them towards their goal and set some goals to where we want to be. Hey, where do we go from here and what's next? So, if you know somebody who's been stuck in bands and they're just not seeing progress, please send them this video. If this is helpful for you, please let me know. That's always helpful. And hey, if you're stuck with your pull ups, what is the thing that you find the hardest part? Is it hanging? Is it the first pull? Is it getting that chin, the last 2 inches? What's the hard part for you? Let me know. Thank you so much for adding another tool for your toolbox. As always, we just want more happy, healthy people in the world. Cheers.